This movie should not have been good. I need you to stop and think about this. Sony Pictures Animation made a movie about K-pop sounds only a little better than Sony Pictures Animation made a movie about emojis. If we'd been hearing about that in 2017, we'd have written it off as a hilariously bad concept before it even came out. Yet this movie is not only not an embarrassing mess, it's actually downright amazing. One of the best in Sony's entire catalog, and genuinely life-changing. Now, the title of this video is not strictly speaking true. I was already well on my way to embracing a better mindset before I watched K-pop Demon Hunters, and the film really just served to solidify it in my head. That doesn't mean it wasn't important, though, because more than anything else I've seen recently, it captured exactly why my priorities on YouTube, and the priorities for my life in general, have been shifting. At least, I'm trying to shift them, so let's go over it. K-pop Demon Hunters follows Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, who collectively form the K-pop idol group Huntrix. Huntrix also fights demons, as you might expect from the title of the movie, but that detail isn't that important to my analysis. Really, I'm focusing more on their work as idols than as hunters, because that relates more to the subject of YouTube. Huntrix stands out in the K-pop industry for a couple reasons. One, the manager, Bobby, is a good guy who genuinely cares for the girls and adamantly refuses to overwork them. Two, they don't seem straddled by a lot of the same restrictions and expectations other K-pop groups deal with in real life. And three, we directly see that Huntrix writes their own music and imbues their own life experiences into the lyrics and presentation. I'm not saying this isn't the case for other K-pop groups, I'm just saying in the movie we have direct evidence that Rumi, Mira, and Zoe all do this. These are authentic artists who have cultivated a fan base through hard and honest work and exemplify what is, by all counts, a pretty positive relationship with that fan base. In fact, they enjoy making music and performing for their fans more than they enjoy fighting demons. This is their true calling. Here on YouTube, finding your true calling is difficult. You can appeal to what's popular and have a better chance at taking off by some metrics, but the more you try to do that, the less earnest you come off. And believe me, if you want long-term sustainability, that is a problem. I can say from experience that continuous trend chasing and nothing else is setting yourself up for failure. I kept trying to appeal to people with surreal memes, with non-surreal memes, with Minecraft, you name it, and it brought me some immediate view boosts, but for the most part, not an audience who really cared about me. And that's not a slight to anyone in particular. I just didn't imbue a lot of my personality into most of my videos, and I didn't offer anything that most people would stick around for. I kinda lied about not bringing up the demon part of K-pop Demon Hunters. The main villains are a demon boy band, the Saja Boys, and they're the polar opposite of Huntrix. They come in with Soda Pop, a widely recognized banger of the song, instantly forming a fan base out of thin air, but down to their very foundation, they are inauthentic. They exemplify basic K-pop stereotypes like sexualization, parasocial relationships, projection, infantilization, and being a 400-year-old from the Joseon dynasty who abandoned their mother and sister to a life of poverty. Well, maybe not that one. The Saja Boys have a completely predatory relationship with their fans, and they're only focused on what is most marketable, what they can most artificially profit from. They literally use this strategy to steal people's souls. Is it an intentional message about the K-pop industry? Maybe, and either way, it's one of the most obvious readings of the film. The point is, they're the antithesis of Huntrix in every way. While the girls are fleshed out and robust people with fears and anxieties and quirks, the Saja Boys are almost entirely one-note archetypes, except Jinu, who conform exactly to the images expected of them. Whether these images are in service of carrying out a global takeover for the Demon King seems almost irrelevant to what the movie is trying to say about authenticity. It goes further when you consider how Huntrix saves the day in the end with what it sounds like the single most authentic song in the movie. It's a raw explosion of all the feelings the girls have kept to themselves all this time, and they quite literally make a point of how they couldn't write it. It could only exist spontaneously in line with their decision to accept each other and reaffirm their love for each other. I can't help but think of all the times I've said something salient or funny just on the spot, without any scripting whatsoever. Ironically, I am scripting this, but I'm not structuring it to the extent I used to structure my videos, and I actually think I'm better off for it. One thing I've done recently to change how I operate on YouTube is get rid of the recommended feed with an extension. I personally recommend this for anyone spending too much time doom scrolling and getting sucked into rabbit holes like I used to. Nowadays, if I'm interested in watching something, I look it up myself, and if I want to keep up with my favorite YouTubers, I can always search their names. I don't think YouTube is healthy for me when I treat it like social media. It shouldn't be a site full of posts and metrics, even if it largely is. The U in YouTube implies the purpose of the site is for your creative expression to define it. The point shouldn't be to get a big number, the point should be to make something valuable, something earnest, something authentically you, like all the songs Huntrix sings. Huntrix is a group of idols. They are celebrities with millions and millions of fans, and yet despite that, they don't treat it like it's social media. They treat what they do like an art form, and they execute it to a T because they love it. The only time they ever worry about their ratings or numbers is when the fate of the world is literally at stake, and that is a situation the Sacha Boys forced on them. They live in a penthouse and lose private jets like it's no big deal, and yet somehow they've managed to keep that human soul in them. If they can do that, why can't we? Well, first we need an environment that serves us, and without some hard work, YouTube is pretty far from that. It's all well and good to talk of authenticity, to sing the praises of being yourself, but there have to be people around you can be yourself with. Let me just segue to talking about my favorite character of the movie, Zoe. When the girls come together and open up about their feelings, Zoe talks about how she was a social outcast, how she felt like her ideas were weird and just too out there to land with anyone. But with Huntrix, she feels like they matter, because Rumi and Mira support her and affirm her in all the right ways. I genuinely feel like, as creatives, the best tool we have is collaboration. I cannot tell you how many things I have accomplished that could not have happened without the care, or even just the presence of my friends. If we on this platform want to make authentic videos, we can't all go it alone. We need support networks. We need communities. And I don't just mean communities of fans. I mean all the communities you can think of, from a duo of friends to an army of millions. Our voices together can do great things on this platform, but we have to embrace what really matters. I've been on YouTube close to 10 years now. I used to research retention editing and metadata techniques, hoping I could find some magic cure to constantly lagging behind, getting only brief spurts of attention before fading back into the abyss of the algorithm. But that's just not a thing. The benefits of these techniques are overstated at best. In the end, the only thing that can really put you on the map is a video with content people are interested in seeing. Content that's valuable, rich in nutrients, so to speak, critical information, banter, clever wordplay, all the things I can think of from my favorite YouTubers. Most of all, it needs a human touch, and it needs yours. People can tell when that spark is there, and they can usually tell when it isn't. Maybe you do all this and still never blow up. Maybe I won't either. I don't treat this as a job anyway, more so a hobby that may one day support me if I'm lucky. There's always a chance that you do all the right things, try your very best, and it just yields nothing at all. The algorithm can be cruel like that, and I won't lie to you and say it isn't. But that's why you shouldn't do YouTube for success and big numbers and viral clips. If you can achieve those, great. But if you want to be one of the real ones, you're going to need one priority and one priority only: putting the you in YouTube and making the videos you love, just as Huntrix makes the music they love. And no matter how well that turns out for you in the end, it's good enough that you did it. You put a part of yourself out there, and if even a single person was touched by it, you can consider that a success in its own right. I know I do, and if I don't, those girls abso-fucking-lutely do, and they can't be wrong, because